Well, good morning, everyone. Future me here. Um, you can probably tell because it's not the same background. I was about to give you guys some bad information, and I didn't think I could fix it with a text note on the screen or something in the description or comments. So I just kind of reshoot this. So I was about to tell you, or it started telling you about the RJ45 connectors on the Kenwood radios, the D710 and probably the older V71. This applies to that as well. Um, so these radios, there's no way to just connect the head directly to the radio. You have to connect it via a cable, and there is no issue with the Kenwood OEM equipment, the head, the microphone, the radio, or the cables it comes with. So that's the clarification I wanted to make. The problem comes in when people like me want to make their own cables, so we don't end up with a lot of extra cables somewhere. Um, and the issue arises because of the keypad on the Kenwood microphones. According to the interwebs, this is a miniature PS2 keyboard. I know I'm dating myself, but yeah, so there's a serial line here that sends data back and forth between the microphone unit and the radio, and that serial data can crosstalk with the microphone wire and create interference when you transmit. So you transmitting don't hear it. It's people listening to your transmission that hear it. And to me, it almost sounds like a 1 PPS signal. If you're ever worked with like GPS units or position navigation timing equipment, probably some serial network equipment as well. It's a 1 pulse per second, 1 PPS time synchronization signal. And that's what it sounded like to me, like a tick, 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 tick. Other people in the interwebs say it's actually a 10 hertz signal, and it sounds more like a buzz. I don't know. To me, it sounded more like a 1 PPS tick. In any case, so Kenwood shields that mic wire and probably bonds it to the ground wire in the cable. Um, we'll get to why that's important in a second. What I do, because I don't use this keypad, it's just simpler for me to not crimp that serial data wire into the connector on the radio side. Um, you want to keep all that stuff inside the radio where they've done the proper shielding. I don't want to let the voltage get down here and terminate at that end. Just crosstalk can still happen. So other people on the interwebs said they've added a ceramic capacitor, I think, across the microphone wire and the ground wire in the cable. And going back to circuits 101, capacitors are short circuits to AC, but they block DC. And so basically, you're dumping that interference to ground and letting the microphone signal pass. And the reason for the ceramic capacitor is that it responds a lot more quickly than an electrolytic capacitor can. The trade-off is the ceramic capacitors just don't have as much capacitance by their nature. So yeah, so there's those fixes, so you can omit the wire or maybe try that ceramic capacitor solution. Another potential solution that seems kind of really challenging is so this used to be a problem with unshielded Ethernet cables, so like Cat5, Cat5e, I think Cat6 as well. Starting with Cat7 and Cat8, they started adding shielding to individual pairs and also the entire wire. And that kind of intrigued me because when I checked the wiring, Kenwood wiring for this, the serial data and the microphone wires are not on the same pair. So they're not going to get trapped inside the shielding, and the shielding doesn't matter. It's still going to allow the interference. No, they're on separate pairs, so the shielding theoretically should work on the Cat7 and Cat8. The problem is how the shielding's terminated on those cables. So I'm pretty sure the Cat7 and Cat8 wires are terminated to a metal case on the connector, and then it's up to like the switch or the router or whatever the cable's connected to do the bonding or grounding to some sort of ground. But since these Kenwood radios are so old, they probably don't have that that bonding or grounding at the RJ45 jack in the case. They're probably, like I said, terminating that microphone shield to the ground wire. And so I think if you're going to try the Cat7 and Cat8 Ethernet cables, then you might need to find a way to terminate those shields to the ground wire and not the case of the connector. I don't know enough about how the Kenwood radio is physically designed. You could probably put a multimeter on it and figure it out and see if you get lucky and it happens to be, you get good electrical bonding when you shove the connector in. Because I know the case on the radio is grounded, so you might get lucky. I'm probably not going to bother with that. If I bother with it, it'll be like a year from now or in 10 years when I retire. I just don't use this keypad, so it's just easier for me to not include the wire. So again, absolutely nothing wrong with the Kenwood OEM equipment. It's when you try to do your own cables to get the lengths right, so you don't end up with a lot of extra cable, that you run into this this ticking interference problem. All right, guys,